And the Standard this morning, trapped in Russia, is the headlining story. Now, Russia's war on Ukraine is now affecting Kenyans directly with severe consequences as it emerges that hundreds of the country's youth have been trapped and forced to fight on Russia's front lines, with dozens killed and many more nursing life-changing injuries in military hospitals. Now, most were promised well-paying jobs but were covered into the army upon arrival. Today, we release the identities of 5 young men who traveled to Russia between July and August, whose whereabouts are unknown back home but are said to be on the front lines. That is a story that you'll find on pages 20, page 2 and 3 of the Standard this morning. Now, some of those include Wangari Ruben Ndungu. He is a 29-year-old Kenyan. Kaloba David Shikanda. He is a 22-year-old Kenyan. And Kariuki Samuel Maina, 31 years old. And Ismail Tariq Ahmed, 25 years old, and Orima Jobik Otieno, he is a 24-year-old Kenyan. And you can grab yourself a copy of the Standard to get to read more about that story. Now, they sent us to the war front after 5 days of training on the front lines. There is no food, no water, no medical attention. When you are injured and cannot walk at all, you are left to die because majority of men serving there are not Russian. That is the Kenyan returnee from the Russian war. And a major milestone as learners sit Kjsea and grade 9 exam. Now, examination will determine transition to senior school for inaugural cohort of grade 9 candidates in new CBE system. That is on the national page 4. And national still state takes baby steps in 8.2 billion drug haul. And investigators are keen to avoid past mistakes as detectives seek more time to hold Iranian suspects amid mystery over consignment owners. That is on page 6 of the Standard this morning. And of course, you will find your health pullout in the Standard this morning. And away from that, now to the Daily Nation, the headlining story: abductions. UN demands answers. Now, the Kenya government has snubbed 2 letters from a United Nations official raising concerns about police killings, abductions, and forced disappearances, detention, and prosecution of government critics following protests in 2024 and this year. By ignoring the communication from Miss Mary Lolo, the special rapporteur on the situation of human rights defenders, Kenya's case will be referred to the Human Rights Council, an organ of the UN General Assembly. And that story you will find on pages 4 and 5 of the Daily Nation. Away from that story now to Raila Party in crisis meeting as Oburu takes charge. And Siaya Senator Oburu Ginga, who was recently installed as the interim ODM party leader following the death of his brother Raila, has convened a meeting of the party's top decision-making organ today in the face of growing internal fight. That story is on page 7 of the Daily Nation this morning. Among other stories in education, students begin exam on senior school placement. Now, over 2 million candidates will today sit the Kenya Primary School Education Assessment, Kpsea, and the Kenya Junior School Education Assessment, Kjsea, ahead of transition to senior school. That is on page 12 of the Nation. And other stories include tragedy: couple, son killed in accident after dowry ceremony in Kiambu. Now, a couple and their son were among 6 people who died on Saturday night when their vehicle plunged into a river in Murang'a County. That is on page 17 of the Daily Nation this morning. And that sums up what's making headlines in the dailies. When we come back from the break, we're coming back with what's making headlines in the world of sport. Keep it silent and we'll be back shortly.